Thanks for tuning in tonight. This is this is messed up right now. This is what it is. This is the 2016 Wave Race 64 year in review. Got a lot of stuff to get through, lots of little topics that I want to touch base on, exciting things that happened during the year, of course, as well as a lot of highlights of the year, some shout outs to some players who I think made a difference to the game overall, put in a lot of effort, and hopefully will keep the game alive for years to come. I'm going to start out with a couple of things that like benchmark times, like big time achievements by players, not just myself, but other players who dedicate a lot of time to the game themselves. So, of course, I'm going to be noting my achievements as well, considering that I am by far the most active player of this game, and I post a lot of times myself. But some things are changing too. We've got an updated Shibby's list, which in the recent past I've been using as just like a ranking list. It's my own opinion. I try to base it on fact, base it on stats, but inevitably it's me making the list, so it ends up being kind of biased at times. But I try to make it honest. First things I want to talk about today are these big benchmark times, like players' first achievements. First, like 103 on Sunny Beach, 105 on Sunset Bay, 111 on Drake Lake. Let's see, Marine Fortress's benchmark time is now 110. No, it has been 110. 118 now on Port Blue. It used to be 119 until this year. Let's see, 116 on Glacier Coast is the benchmark time on Glacier Coast. And if one more player gets 115, then the benchmark will move down to 115. And then 114 on Southern Island are the benchmark times. So basically what a benchmark time is the time down to at least the second timer being as good or better than the worst player in the top 3 on that level. So the worst player in the top 3 on a stage determines what the benchmark time is. So one more person needs to get a 115 on Glacier Coast. If you want to do everybody a favor and lower the benchmark time by getting that time, that'd be pretty awesome. Anyway, speaking of benchmark times, I definitely have some players doing a lot of work on this stage, Sunny Beach. We had 2 new benchmark times this year, or 2 new players get a 103 on on Sunny Beach. Those players are Quick Persons IND. I just call him Quick, usually. He scored a 103.874. This was achieved on February 18th last year, so it was one of the early achievements of the year. I'm not going to be doing the whole year in chronological order of which thing came first. I'm really looking at stages, just overall what happened during the year. And I like time trial the most. I'm going to kind of start with time trial. Quick Person got a 103.874 on Sunny Beach. He did not get a video of this time, which in the future that'll be a no-no, but I've seen Quick play for like 50 plus hours. I know that he's good enough at least to get a 103, so I know that that's true. And another player got a 103 also, and that is Game. He's one of the guys that I know in person. We have played this game for quite a while. I kind of try to show him how to do some things if he's struggling. And then comes early on in the year early on in the year, actually only the 2nd of January. Or no. Well, on the 2nd of January, I'm reading this, it's a different date. It was early in January when I first achieved a 103.2. It was like January 2nd. But then came the real deal, and the real deal was getting a 103.250 or better. And I do have a 105.21. I think it's a 218, but I didn't record it, so I'm an idiot. But this recording here that I'm going to show on the stream, this was the first ever hard difficulty that was faster than the fastest normal difficulty on Sunny Beach. So this would have been, I'm going to turn the game sound down there. This would have been on February 18th on the Sunny Beach. And hard mode on this level is faster because of the very end stretch going past the finish line. And what makes it faster at that part is there's no wave there like there is on the other two difficulties. Actually, I don't know if it's there on Expert either, but it doesn't matter. Expert, you have to drive pretty far out of the way to get that. So, no, I'm not going to show every video that I want to show on this because I do want to keep it like around a half hour to 45 minutes for the review. But I thought this was worth showing, just kind of the way that the game is evolving. The easiest difficulties not always going to be the fastest difficulty, you know? So, I mean, we had a lot of activity on Sunny Beach, including a new player today who got his first 105 on Sunny Beach. I believe his tag is Grimya. Let me see. Yeah, Grimya, Grimya. So he's gotten a pretty good time now on Sunny Beach. He's working towards a 104 and beyond. I did say at the beginning of 2016, now that we're going to be using hard mode for Sunny Beach, 102 is going to end up being possible, and I still think that it is, but it's going to be something that requires basically perfect RNG, if anybody has time for that, you know. So, the next video, I'll kind of change gears over here, because, let's see, we'll kind of keep playing some music here. Oh man. So I have some things written down on a notepad here for myself. There was also a ton of activity on reverse mode too by a lot of different players, and I'm gonna get to those guys. I mainly am more interested here in the next stage, which was I almost say that, Sunset Bay. So there was another player who benchmarked Sunset Bay for the first time in 2016, and that was Analog. He did take a picture of the time. Unfortunately, he didn't show a video. And again, benchmark times in the future are going to need video proof. Those are potential top 3 times or close to it. Analog's was a 105.918. So 105.918 lands him, I believe, if I look at the scoreboard here, it'll be 5th. Yeah, it's 5th place. Lockwood got his 105.6 in August of 2015, and he was the 4th player to get the 105. And there are still some players that are very close to around that time, like, for example, Admiral Smith is 106.4, and he's good enough to get a 105. I really don't think that he's all that interested in playing much anymore, sadly. But I'll show the vid of the current world record in in Sunset Bay, which was my 105.168. And this is a pretty recent video. It's less than 6 months old, but if you've been watching my stream lately, then you know that we're getting pretty close to the 104. We're really close, actually. This is still the best run that I've done yet, but I've gotten a couple of other 105.1s, and I can feel it. The 104 is definitely pretty close here. There are currently only 5 players with a 105 on this stage. It is the benchmark 105, but it's very difficult to get for the first time. But when you get it a bunch of times and you kind of get a feeling for it, it really opens up this level, and you can just grind this all the way down to 104. Like, 104 is most definitely possible. It will take some good RNG, and it will take a lot more hours, but I'm about 100 hours into it right now. I think we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it there eventually. So, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of other activity on Sunset Bay. I know that Ryan Lockwood played it, and a couple of other players played it. Lockwood is already a benchmark player. He's got a 105.6, I think, 660. And a lot of activity here on Drake Lake, the next level that I'm going to discuss. Drake Lake has always been kind of crazy. It's pretty much always belonged to Ilu also. I don't want to make a clip. What are you talking about? Yeah. This level is pretty much exact, and we have some good news and some bad news on Drake Lake. The good news for me is that I was able to get a 19 on Drake Lake. I think this, or not a 19, a 22 second lap on Drake Lake. So I grounded out pretty good and was the second player to get a 22, and it did at the time, actually not my first one, but a few 22s in, when I finally got a few more 22s, I beat the lap world record. And that's like a crowning achievement of mine, I suppose, because Drake Lake, if you know, has been really hard for me to compete on at the level that Ilu does. So here's my lap on Drake Lake. So this was the world record when I got it. It's the former world record right now. Ilu has he came out of retirement for like a week to beat. Oh my gosh. You see that buoy just went under it, straight under it. So yeah, at the time that was a world record, but it's been snuffed out by Ilu with a slightly better version of it, and here's that video. I'll show that one. So this is Ilu's world record lap, current world record on Drake Lake. I'm also going to show his really freaking sweet 3-lap time. So Ilu obviously is always super clean whenever he gets a record time. I don't think I've ever watched it that long and seen that crash. This is the current 3-lap world record on Drake Lake, and arguably this is one of the best records in the whole game, man. This is probably the best record in the whole game. So Ilu, obviously the most beastly Drake Lake player in Wave Race, and he's ranked number 2 right now on the Shibby rankings. He has been relatively inactive. I think this is maybe the only notable thing really that he did all year, but it's pretty much enough. I mean, I tried a lot to beat this. The Drake Lake record is not the longest standing record. Setsuka, but because, I mean, it was improved this year, much like a lot of the times were. But I think he's held it longer than I've held any of my current records, I think. Because he got it back from Hayate a long time ago while I was still climbing up.
Yes. Holy shit, I thought I'd shot this.
Yeah, so Ilu, beast mode, man. He didn't play a whole lot this year, though. That was his main downfall. Is he really only got like a couple of good times. He was mostly playing Drake Lake, and that's really my only complaint. Like, I wish he would play more. Honestly, I wish he would play a little bit more. But what can you do, you know? So yeah, we're on to the next here. I'm gonna leave that down to like that, about that level. So Drake Lake, obviously, lots of good stuff. Oh, I wanted to show Analogism. He actually obviously got a benchmark on this level for the first time this year. And he's a rising player. He's kind of inactive right now, or not totally inactive, but just hasn't been playing a ton. But this is Analog's 111.5.593. I think it's here, let me make sure that this is it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is it. Definitely one of the better players out there. I think he is currently ranked number 5, and he will definitely still be in the top 5 when I make the new rankings. He has been more active than Ilu, I'll give him that. And Lockwood has also been pretty active as well lately, especially. What's up, Bleed Red and White? How's it going, man? Welcome to the 2016 review. It's a good time. If anyone's not following Analogism on Twitch, he's just twitch.tv/Analogism. Like I was saying, he hasn't been playing a lot lately, but he definitely has some mad game. Oh, Haunter, dude, what's up, Scotty? How's it going? Alright, let's, on to the next one. Oh, yeah, I was gonna mention on this one the, oh, man. Okay, I won't show my video. I got a 111.3 this year. A 369 to beat my old best. But we're on to some fun stuff now, and what I mean is Marine Fortress. Marine Fortress, obviously, if you watch my channel, you know Marine Fortress is one of my favorite levels. And we had some crazy activity, especially towards the top on Marine Fortress. And I want to show some of the videos here. This first one that I'll show is Gilly Guide. He finished... He broke the benchmark time of 110. He got it. He got 110, and it was a .756, which earned him 3rd place above Ilu. He was pumped about it when it happened, and I think he's gonna try at least for 109. But here's his first 110, and finishing third place. It's one of the few times on any level that one of the top 3 players have been surpassed. And Gilly is new too. He's only been in the game for about a year. And anyway, here's his Marine Fortress time here. If it'll play. Good. So Gilly Guide calls himself, and rightfully so, he calls himself the Dive King. And he is very good at this dive right here. So that's one of the reasons why he has a great time on Marine Fortress, is that he's gotten a lot more chances beyond the shortcut than most players have gotten. And he's done pretty well with it overall. Gilly Guide has a Smash 64 background. He plays a lot of that. He does the tutorials as well. By the way, if you're looking at getting into Wave Race, check out Gilly Guide's tutorials. I will put the link to his tutorials in the chat. You can definitely check that out. Favorite that, so that if you're trying to get better at Wave Race, if you spend about 35 minutes watching his videos, because that's about how long it takes to watch all of them in a row, then you'll actually get quite a bit better at the game overall. So there's Gilly Guide's first benchmark time on Marine Fortress. Pretty good stuff. Good stuff to Gilly Guide. He had a pretty good year. I do imagine that he's going to be moving up in the rankings, especially after that benchmark, I would say. Moving on to the next one that I wanted to talk about. We're still actually on Marine Fortress. Hayate. The Hayate's time before Gilly Guide got his time here that we just watched. Hayate's best time was 110.0. So, pretty good benchmark. A very low 110. And the world record at the time was 108.7 or so. Yeah. Well, as you'll see, that, I mean, these changed. First of all, props to Hayate, who only 2 months ago, on October 4th, about 2.5 months ago, improved his time on Marine Fortress from that 110. Whoops. What are you doing here? Alright. Yeah, he improved it down to 108.771. So, really impressive. Here's that run. 107 by the way, or 108 by the way, was a double untied. No one else had a 109 or a 108. Like, second place had been 110. So 108 here at this time, when he was going for the 108, he had already gotten 109 now. That's a great looking turn out of lap 1. And I believe that this lap is also the new world record lap on Marine Fortress. Very good stuff by Hayate. This is ending up a 21.631. The world record lap right there. You pretty much have to go really kind of wide, but at the same time you gotta be going straight at the end of the turn and already be lined up perfectly. That's after the first turn. So good stuff on the first 108 by Hayate, the second player to get a 108. and a world record lap on the run as well. But now, I don't want to show all my videos like I was saying, but now I want to show you my time, because this took so long. It was achieved on October 6th, and this is the world record currently on Marine Fortress. It's a 107.9, and I want to show more of it if I can. Let me see if I can. Alright, I want to show like my reaction a little bit, because it was pretty good. I guess I can't. Ah, whatever. We'll just do this. I'll play it from here. So this took about, I'm trying to think, I think this took over 50 hours. It was very difficult and very precise. And the dive, basically you have to get to the wall so fast that it makes the dive so difficult. But we got this time, which was already a double untied. We beat it by another second almost, so we got it down to 107.9. And I have a little asterisk on this one in my notes, because I wanted to mention that I believe that this, or one other time, it's a very close call, this or one other time was the highlight of the year, at least for me, and I think for the community it might have been. I mean, there's a couple of really good plays, a couple of really good times by other players too that really kind of
Yes!
just that reaction.
Yes!
Yeah. As you can see, I was pretty pumped about it. Yeah. So, good stuff. The first 107 on Marine Fortress. So, good stuff. It's a 1 second untied right now. It's 0.8 seconds ahead of Hayate. So, I'm going to be happy with that for a while here. So, the next level that I wanted to talk about is Port Blue, and Port Blue had some really good stuff and some really good competition earlier in the year. This was around March. My time had progressed down to 118.1 at this time, and Hayate definitely earning his spot in the top 3 this year, and probably, I mean, potentially even passing Ilu for second place. And this kind of stuff is really why. This is his Port Blue time. It's 118.291. Definitely one of the best players Wave Race has to offer, and this is his time here.
3, 2, 1.
The benchmark on this stage moved this year from 119 down to 118. Ilu and I both had 118 and Hayate had 119 last year, so it was 119 the benchmark was. But now all 3 of us got 118, then I did get the 117 this year, which is actually really exciting. Any untied is really difficult to get nowadays. So that's a really good split, and if you play a lot, you understand, like, seeing a good split kind of makes you nervous. It makes you more likely to mess up, right? It just makes it way more likely to happen. And a good ending there. But of course, after I show that, I really want to show the Untied. The 117.982. This one was achieved by me March 15th, the week after that you just watched. And this is this right here. March is before my new computer. So this is one of the final recordings with my old computer. Pretty good stuff. And another thing too is that all the while I'm playing, we have other players joining in the scene, like at speedrun.com/WR64 Wave Race 64. We've got a bunch of new players this year. We've got some of our way back in time, like old school players, at least chatting with us now. For example, we're back in touch with Marla, one of the classic PAL players. He's got all the world records in the PAL version and all of the PAL stunt mode world records. And by the way, if you don't like stunt mode, I can understand that, but you need to watch and appreciate like how much skill it takes to be really good at stunt mode. So 117, the first ever 117. Really good stuff right there. That was so hard to get. Took another probably 50 to 70 hours, somewhere in that range. Oh yeah. Hey, thanks for that compliment, Cam. Cam's a GoldenEye buddy of mine. He's in the chat just giving me compliments. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Also this year we had KZ77 start playing, and I mean I wouldn't normally mention a new player who doesn't have a lot of times, but check this out on Port Blue. He's in the top 5. He's in the top 5. That's a 120.473 accomplished by KZ77. This would have been back, it looks like not that long ago, August 9th, and it was approved the next day. Like the run was approved. He's got a video on there. Check it out at speedrun.com/WR64. Yeah, definitely good stuff. Port Blue is one of the hardest levels. If you haven't played Port Blue, you should definitely check that out, and you see what I'm talking about when you try to play it. Other good stuff happened here on Twilight City. We got the benchmark moved down from 125 down to 124 this year, and yeah, really good stuff. We have the top 3 players are all the only ones at the benchmark right now, but we do have some other players that are doing pretty well, because remember, this level has the dive on it again. So Twilight City, we have some new top 10ers here from this year, like Stone Cold Hard bringing in the rear here with 128.684. Gilly Guide and Andy Panther both scoring 127s, and Gilly Guide actually getting a 126 once he got Shindu shortly after. Analogism sits in 4th place right now with a 126.052, and this is his video of that. I wonder if it's here. Oh, he doesn't have the video, he just has the picture. But I guess while we're talking, I'll show you the picture that he has. Right? So that's that. 126.052. Really a good time, and 125 will feel good to him, I'm sure, when he gets that. Hey, Hayate. Hayate is here. I was talking about you earlier, Hayate. So, next level here was that... Oh, we're still talking about Twilight City, and I wanted to show Hayate's time here because he has an awesome one. It's a 124.762 and 124.7. Oh wait, actually, it was from last year, so I will not show it. And also my 123 was from last year, so I will not show it. But good stuff on Twilight City. Almost everyone new played Twilight City and did quite well. We have a bunch of new people in the top 10, and that's what I like to see. Oh, hey, Shutta. Good to see you, man. It's been a long time. I see you haven't been playing Wave Race, but if you want to come back, man, we're playing. We're playing with or without you. You're welcome to the stream. Hayate is joining us as well. Hayate, one of the top 3 Wave Race players. A very good Wave Race player and one of my inspirations when I was starting off. We only have a couple levels left and RTA mode left, and then I have some shout outs to some people. Wanted to briefly mention Glacier Coast. Glacier Coast was awesome this year, mainly because we had I had the 115 going into the year, but I knew that someone was gonna get close. And Analogism, for example, he was new. He has second place now. He tied the 115. He got a 115.7. He doesn't have the video of the actual time, but this is his little celebration.
Got it about over an hour ago, a little over an hour ago. Just immediately went for celebratory ice cream, celebratory cigarette. What a level. I won't be playing Glacier Coast for a while. It was a really good run. It was a solid run. 115.7. Yeah, not much to say about it. It was a really good run. Obviously made a huge jump in PBs, so that's always good.
So good stuff too, Analogism with the 115 on Glacier Coast. My original 115 was from last year, but I did get a new record this year, a 115.5. This was in February. Would have been February 12th. And here's that video here.
3, 2, 1.
115 on Glacier Coast takes just the most annoying precision and good RNG. You just have to be so careful, and you have to have a lot of patience as well. I would say that 114 could happen. It might have to be someone other than me. It might have to be someone later in the years. Someone who revisits the game who is more skilled than I am. I would love to get a 114. Hell yeah. But I don't know if that's really going to happen. It's a 517. A 115.517. Hey, Saucepan, welcome to the review, man. Yeah, Glacier Coast, one of the hardest levels in the game, including all of the stages and reverse stages. I think that Glacier Coast Forward is harder than Glacier Coast Reverse by a long shot. Also worth mentioning this year, the 23 happened on Glacier Coast on one lap. So we got a one lap 23.975. Glacier Coast overall, that level just gives you a beating. It really does. It's a level that you have to sit and grind a lot. Other people who accomplished big time stuff on Glacier Coast would be like Andy Panther. He came in with an 11th place time, which would be 120, and 743 thousandths of a second. So it's good, but like I was saying, it's still about 5 seconds off of the record. He's going to be able to kind of snip that down quite a bit too, though. Newest player to break 120 would be Gilly Guide. Gilly Guide's got a 119.8. It was from only a couple of months ago. And he also PB'd on it. This was from October 7th. Got that PB lap, too, of 25.793. Good stuff all around. And Hayate, if you get 115 on Glacier Coast, you will move the benchmark down to 115. Definitely a huge accomplishment. Anytime that you can be the third person to get a time and move the benchmark time down to that time, I would say go for that. That is the next best thing to tying a time, like being the second player, and which is obviously the second best thing only to being the first player ever to get a time or getting that untied world record. Speaking of untied world records, see how I segue? Let's take a quick look. Oh, I was going to talk about Southern Island 113, but that happened in 2015, so it's really not relevant to this. But definitely one of the best times that I've ever gotten. But I do have a bunch of other untieds that happened in 2016. They are on the reverse courses, and I'm glad that we're kind of segueing into reverse right now, because I wanted to talk about that before we stop. On reverse, actually the very first thing that happened all year on January 1st, reported on January 2nd, was the untied on Sunny Beach reverse. This is a 105.9. Second place still has a 106.9. And this is that time here. Basically, it took a lot of work, but it's mostly just optimization of the turns and just going fast, honestly. Here's this here. This definitely was a fun one to do. Tough, though, and mainly because of this part right here. Until now. That's about the hardest part, but not really on lap 1. It gets a lot harder on the future laps here. Good stuff. Not a lot of activity by other players on Sunny Beach reverse. We did have a couple of examples, and I will shout these players out for their efforts on this stage. For example, I'm looking them up right now. We have Gilly Guide coming in at 4th place on this stage only about a month ago with a 108.2. So 108.2 is actually tied. He's got a 108.264, and Andy Panther is 5th with a 108.293. So we've got players coming in very close to each other and a lot of competition like right in there. We also had some 108 by Game, who doesn't play much, but this was this year. He's got a 108.3. It's right behind Gilly and Andy Panther on this stage on reverse. And the lowest 109, a 109.0, and coming in at 7th is our friend Stone Cold. He is a mod on the forum. He's helped us out a lot on the leaderboard by importing times from other websites, kind of getting some more exposure out there for our community too. So really good stuff. Gilly Guide is a cool guy. Saucepan, you are definitely right about that. Hey, Unworry, thanks so much for the host. I really appreciate that. It's pretty cool. If you're just tuning in, this is the Wave Race 64 2016 year in review. We're just looking at some achievements by both myself and the other top players in Wave Race and some of the up-and-comers' accomplishments over the year. Great times, new records, joining the top ranks, some of the players like are getting shots at becoming some of the top players. It's really cool to see, especially like you start playing, and if, like, look at it from my perspective. I've been playing for 5 years now, almost. 2017 will be the beginning of the 5th year of my competitive wave race career. Like, yeah, I played it longer than that, but for the last 5 years, I've tried to be the best at the game. So I'm playing it basically with not a lot of other people. I've talked to some people from time to time who are interested in getting better at the game and trying to help them out. And now I see them passing the legends. I see them passing the times of the players who I was trying to pass when I was getting good. I love seeing that stuff, man. I get excited about having like new players in this community. You guys might not understand what it's like, what I'm talking about, what it's like to be like one of the only people playing a game. So sometimes I feel like I'll take what I can get. Anybody who wants to play, I'll teach you guys. But then the people who do come to play, they're cool people. They're legit people who want to branch out, want to play a new game, want to get into something new, you know. And this is a perfect opportunity for a lot of those players. Just to continue a little bit on here on Time Trial Reverse, because we did have a lot. We had Gilly Guide, who was on his quest to get a top 5 time on every reverse stage, and I do believe that it happened. I think he got it on everything, and I'll keep going through this stuff to kind of double check. Just notable mentions here on Time Trial Reverse. We had Andy Panther scoring a 3rd place time on Sunset Bay Reverse, which is a 111.022. Second place is Hayate, who, this was years ago, he got 110.7. And then last year I have a double untied record, 108.9, which this would have been almost 2 years ago now. It's January 16th, 2015. So we're going to pass 2 years on that time being the double untied. Longest double untied standing in the game, I think, is right there. Drake Lake Reverse. This one was pretty crazy because we had a lot of people. So bringing in the top of the new players would be Andy Panther, and he's not really new. He's been on the boards for a couple of years, but he's the Beetle Adventure Racing champion, by the way, if you don't know, and he's also sick at Episode 1 Racer. So N64 racing games are legit, aren't they? Aren't they sweet? They're so good. I love them. Anyway, he's coming in 3rd place on this level with a 113.205. We should watch this, actually, because it's really good. It's a solid run. It's from June 25th this year. And yeah, like I said, worth a watch. He says he's going to get 112 on this stage. Let me see what you think about it. If it will play, right? That's, I guess, the first thing that has to happen. Good stuff on Andy Panther's improvements over the last year. Hayate is currently in the chat, by the way. If you're not involved in the chat, definitely I'm interacting with the chat room right now. Feel free to type something to me if you want to talk about the game, or if you have a question or anything to contribute. If you just want to shout out. I'm watching the chat live, and I'll talk to you guys. If you're watching the video of this after it's posted, then you might be out of luck on that one. But this is live right now. If you're watching this right now, and you're in the chat room, you could be like, hey, Shibby, why aren't you showing my video? I got it this time. I'll be like, meh, I don't know. So that's a good time on Drake Lake Reverse by Andy Panther, coming in at 3rd place. But what I really wanted to show on Drake Lake Reverse would be the Untied, which is my time here, which occurred on October 20th this year. This is a 111.7, an Untied record. Good stuff. And I'm going to kind of wrap things up pretty soon. I just wanted to get through a couple of other things here. Yeah. But a crazy good year for Wave Race 64. I will type our leaderboard website's URL into the chat here, and anyone who has not been on, definitely give it a try. Pick up a controller and play some of these stages, see what you can do. Good stuff, right? Good stuff. Let's see, I'm just kind of browsing through, looking for some more notable stuff. Gilly Guide gets the second best time on... oh, here, I'll mute myself there. Gilly Guide comes in with the second best time ever on Glacier... Or not Glacier Coast, Marine Fortress Reverse. He's the second player to do the dive on reverse mode and get that shortcut. So, great stuff to him. I hope he keeps playing. I definitely do. I know he's been pretty busy as of late, but he's going to be the savior of Wave Race, right? He's going to come in and save us all from the monotony. So there are a couple other things worth mentioning, like the Untied records on Port Blue Reverse and the Untied record on Twilight City Reverse. Reverse is just a crapshoot. I mean, there is a lot of time to be made up in Reverse by everyone. I'm not just talking about me. If you play Wave Race, you can make up time in Reverse. Trust me on that one. I'm going to finish up here with RTA times. This is things like full game. Like normal mode, hard mode, expert mode, reverse mode, all championship mode, and time trial all modes. So these tons of activity, especially in championship normal. We've got some times that were reported this year. Just to go down the list or up the list from the bottom. This year we have a new player who's posted a time. I'm not sure if it is serious or not because it's like an hour long, and the second to last place time is 11 minutes long, so I don't know if that's true. But we have Starcritus at 17th place only 2 months ago, posting a 10:55. 5 months ago, Lightning Lars 57 gets 10 minutes 50 seconds. 5 months ago, Ben's with Y on Virtual Console gets 10:25. Grimia, our new player from Spain, gets a 10:24. And then let's see, we're getting better here. Stone Cold getting 9:58. We're at the breaking the 10-minute barrier here now. 8th place, 9:58. Good stuff by you, Stone Cold. If you're watching, breaking 10 minutes is a huge achievement. Because look at all of the other players on this list that are breaking 10. 8th place is Stone Cold. 7th is Rizzle with another 9:58 8 months ago. 7 months ago, Andy Panther with a 9:56, 6th place. In 5th and 4th, we have a tie for 4th place. Game and Gilly Guide both having a 955. Gilly Guide's being far more recent. His was only 6 months ago this year. Game's was 2 years ago. We also have the top 3 didn't change in the order. We have... actually, did it? No. Ilu is 3rd place, 949. That's not recent, though. That's not a 2016 highlight. But what is both 2nd and 1st place. 2nd being Hayate, scoring a 937 only a couple of months ago. And a few months before that was my 925, which is the current standing record. Definitely we need some more people to challenge the RTA records in this game. Hard mode, pretty much the same order, I would say. We've got not nearly as much activity on this level or this difficulty overall, but a lot of activity this year. Stone Cold with a 1205 on hard 4 months ago. To Rizzle with a 1204 8 months ago. Gilly with an 1156, breaking that 12 barrier 3 months ago. Trippy C with an 1155. Trippy doesn't play a lot either, but when he does, it's got a lot of heart, man. He sticks to it and plays for a PB. He's in it for the long haul. And then Hayate's 2nd with an 111.33. I'm sorry, 11 minutes 33 seconds, and is that the record? Well, 11 minutes 14 seconds. 7 months ago, that would have been recorded on the 25th of May. So that was during the year, obviously. 25th of May. So good stuff. We did play some IQ also this year. We have the I got the record of 5134, I think, on IQ, which is basically untouchable on, or no, 5128 on IQ, which is basically untouchable. 5142 is the record on N64. Man, lots of good times this year. But anyway, that's going to do it for the year in review. If I forgot anything worth mentioning and you can remember, shoot me a message, let me know, remind me, hey, I'm not the only player. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that follow button for me. We'll talk about the game. I'll try to help you out if you want to get good. Speedrun.com/WR64. It's our leaderboard website. That's this website I'm using to show you guys all the times and stuff like that. So, hope you liked the review, and hey, have a good rest of your day, everybody.